What's going on, family? Let's go, let's go, let's go. Welcome, welcome, welcome to today's session with the Profit Society family. We are super excited to be here with every single one of you guys as normal. And it's another opportunity, family, to go ahead and get better. It's another opportunity to be prepared for this week. And we are super excited to be here with every single one of you guys as usual. But go ahead and drop those locations in the chat. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from right now, family. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from as well. As you guys are starting to type that, do me one favor, please, to go ahead and smash that like button one time for us. Definitely helps us out tremendously, family. So go ahead and smash that like button as well. But let me know where you guys are tuning in from. We are live right now, family. It's going to be a freaking phenomenal trading week. Let's get it. I see we got Texas in the building. What's up, Jose? How are you doing? Matthew, what's going on? Tony in the building. What's going on, Tony? Good to see you. We got the Bahamas in the house. Tammy, what's up? Houston, Texas in the building. 2 trades. What's going on? Appreciate you guys for tuning in so much. I feel really good about this up and coming trading week, family. I think it's going to be an absolutely phenomenal week overall. And I'm excited for it, man. I'm excited for it, family. Hopefully you guys are excited as well. Let's get it. Let's go, let's go, let's go. I see we got Tyson in the building. What's going on, Tyson? Good to see you. Check Houston in the building as well. Let's get it. Yeah. We're going to get this thing started, guys, in just a couple more minutes. A couple more minutes, we'll get this thing started. Just want to make sure everything is good on my end. Keep putting those locations in the chat. Keep smashing that like button if you guys haven't done so just yet. I have some interesting looking opportunities that I want to speak with you guys about today for this up and coming week, man. But I want to see those likes go up. I want to see the locations in the chat. I want to see more activity, family. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, let's get it. I see we got Kosi in the house. What's going on, Kosi? Good to see you in the chat. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing started, family. So again, welcome to today's stream with the Profit Society, family. We are super excited to be here with every single one of you guys and are excited to be able to come here and just provide you guys an insight as to what we are going to be looking forward to going into this up and coming trading week. Like I said before, I think it's going to be an absolutely amazing week because based off of the technicals and the fundamentals, I believe the markets are really, pointing in a certain direction, right? And I'm gonna get into all that in just a few. But we do have a very, 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 very important week this week, guys, when it comes to news, right? It is CPI week over here in the U.S., and that is a very, very important week for sure, right? So we're gonna talk about that in a second. But let's go ahead and go through, all the news events that we have to be aware of for this week. And for the most part, there's really not that many. But the ones that we do have, especially the dollar ones, are definitely, gonna hold a lot of weight, right? So overall, family, on Monday, tomorrow, we really don't got nothing major, but we do have a bank holiday over there in Canada, so definitely be mindful of that for any of you guys that trade the Canadian dollar. I know Kyle loves trading the Canadian dollar, so obviously tomorrow might be one of those days where you just be a little bit more cautious because there's probably not gonna be as much volume for the CAD overall, right? But that's something we want to be aware of, guys. Holiday for the CAD tomorrow. All right, so be careful if you're trying to trade that. Going into Tuesday, we don't have nothing too crazy. We have this Euro German CPI, but overall nothing crazy on Tuesday. We have crude oil inventories on Wednesday for any of you oil traders out there. They're expecting a somewhat of an improvement, right? Because they're going from -17, right? And it could be for whatever reason, right? But they're going from -17 to -4, right? So that's sort of like an improvement. It's still negative, but it's still an improvement from what it was, right? But overall, again, I don't trade oil too much, but for all you oil traders, definitely be mindful of that for Wednesday, right? Now, going into Thursday and Friday is really when the fireworks really start. Thursday is going to be very important, guys, because we do have the core CPI and the CPI numbers actually coming out. And for all you guys that are newer to the call, don't understand what CPI is. CPI stands for Consumer Price Index. It is an indicator of inflation, right? We have been battling inflation for the past year and a half to 2 years now, pretty aggressively, right? Which is why our interest rates went from, pretty much close to zero all the way up to around 5.25%, right? And yeah, the reason why we've seen such a jump in interest rates is because we wanted to see CPI continue to go back towards that 2% level. Right, which we're actually on a great path to get there. Right now we're at 3.0%, which is very close to obviously that 2% level that the Fed really wants to get to. So we'll see if this week actually gets us into that 2% range. As of right now, the rumors, right, the rumors from core CPI is that it's going to stay the same. Let me actually go ahead and see if I could put the 2-star, the medium impact, to see if we can go. I want to see what the yearly CPI numbers are trying to say as well, right? So let's see what we got here. All right, so core CPI numbers are expected to go from 4.8% to 4.7%. And this is really probably going to be the one that really holds the most weight. Obviously, we have regular CPI, which is in the 3% range already. But that core is a little bit more, I don't want to say accurate, right? It's just how it's being measured, is the reason why the Fed is definitely paying attention to more so the core numbers than regular. So overall, going from 4.8% to 4.7%, that is going to be looked at as positive if we do come out at that 4% or lower. And if we do come out positive, right, or if it comes out at 4% and lower, then we have to understand how that's going to influence these markets, right? Because if I look at these markets, guys, and I see that we do come out at 4% or lower, I'm going to expect the market sentiment to more so lean on or lean towards more of a risk on type of sentiment, risk on type of environment, right? Risk on pretty much talks about what assets are going to be more in demand, right? Risk on pretty much stands for turn the risk on. When you hear somebody say turn the risk on or risk on, they're saying that the marketplace right now, the overall state of the market is looking good, right? There's a lot of optimism, there's a lot of hope. Now could be a time to go ahead and start getting back into more so riskier assets like stocks, cryptos, commodities, real estate, so on and so forth, right? So if we do come out at 4.7% or lower, then yeah, I believe gold is gonna fly. I believe the S&P, the Nasdaq are gonna fly. I think the Euro USD is gonna fly. GBP USD is gonna fly. USD JPY is gonna probably fall. USD CAD is probably gonna fall. So on and so forth, right? I'm just gonna be expecting dollar weakness, right? Dollar weakness, indice strength, gold strength, if we come out as projected or lower, because that's going to be perceived as good data. Okay, so that's going to be interesting to see how it comes out, guys. But overall, this is going to be the most important event of this week, is going to be CPI numbers, because they can give us an insight, or we can start to come up with some type of bias as to what we think the Fed is eventually going to do in these next up and coming Fed meetings that they actually have. And they're definitely going to be paying attention to these numbers for sure. Right, we also do have initial jobless claims, which is coming out. They're expecting an increase in the number of people that file for unemployment for the first time, which is also going to be a positive news release. So if this comes out at 231 or higher, I also think that that's going to be very positive. So dollar weakness, pound, indice strength, gold strength, so on and so forth, if we come out at this number or higher. Right now, we do have a member of the Fed is also going to be speaking pretty much closer to end of the day at 4 o'clock. But then going into Friday, family, we have a holiday for Japan, which is interesting. But the main important things, I believe, is going to be these pound events, right? So we actually have some GDP news events coming out for the pound, and that's probably going to be the biggest event on Friday overall. Now, I do trade pound yen, so it's going to be something of importance for me to be aware of this stuff to see how it comes out. But if anybody does trade any pound pairs, man, you got to be mindful, right? We do have GDP coming out, right, on Friday. Now, that's at 2 a.m., right? So right before London session starts, it comes out, and it's going to absolutely shake the markets. As of right now, right, from a year-to-year perspective, they're expecting GDP to remain the same, right? Which means that their economy is not growing, nor is it contracting, right? Their economy is pretty much staying level-headed, and that could be perceived as maybe positive overall, right? But overall, just be mindful, guys, that we do have major news on Friday, and that's going to be the pound GDP event, right? So like I said, it's not that crazy of a week this week, right? But the big boy is going to be Very important. That's going to be on Thursday, followed by obviously GDP for the pound on Friday, right? So overall, should be a very interesting week in the markets. But I'm super excited to really get to Thursday and see how those numbers come out, right? So let's go ahead now and get right into the markets, family. We're not here to take too much time or waste too much time with you guys at all, right? But family, before we even go ahead and continue to get into this, please do me one solid. Go ahead and smash that like button. Smash that like button one time for me. I do appreciate you guys for going ahead and doing so. It's much appreciated, 100%, because it does help us out here with this stream. It allows YouTube to know that you guys are getting value, and then YouTube in return will obviously, allow the algorithm to favor, this content and this video. So definitely go ahead and smash that like button if you haven't just yet. I appreciate you for doing so already. Right, but let's go ahead and get into this, fam. I want to go ahead and talk about the dollar index, man, because we actually had a very interesting previous week here for the dollar, right? That started off bullish, right? We actually had a very strong bullish start to the week last week, which is what I pretty much predicted on last week's call, that we are going to have some dollar strength. And then we ended up coming to this 102, 400 price point right here. And off of this 400 price point, we actually seen the dollar, guys, pretty much end up turning around, right? We ended up finding a very strong level of resistance or a strong level of structure right here at this 102 400 price point. And to be honest with you, the reason why that the market did that was because of the news, right? Because of the data that came out last week, right? We had data that actually came out that was being perceived as positive data. And because it was being perceived as positive data, guess what? The dollar ended up becoming weak because of that, because now more traders and investors have the opportunity or the option to go ahead and get back into stocks, cryptos, commodities to see if they can take advantage of the potential strength that can come in those plays. Right? So yeah, news and data is what really ended up causing price to do this, right? Specifically, mainly, obviously NFP and the unemployment rate. It was kind of mixed, but overall, we seen that the market really, took that data and really appreciated that data that we had on Friday. So I think, right, I think we could potentially continue that direction, right? Because what fundamental news does, guys, right, this is very important, especially for all you guys that really only trade technicals. I want you guys to understand this concept real quick, right? The data itself, the news itself, is what creates trends, right? It's the data that creates the trends. The technical is what forms based off the data itself, right? So if you want to understand the longer term bias, the longer term trend of the market, yeah, you could rely on technicals for sure, but it just does something different when you understand it and they both line up, right? When technical analysis and your fundamental bias are lining up, then it's super powerful, right? You have an opportunity of a super high probability trade setup. So me looking at this, right, seeing what happened last week and understanding that that news event is probably going to keep the momentum for the most part, right, until we see another major news event, which will be on Thursday, right? So I think we're going to continue in the overall bias that we ended up having last week based off news. Again, news is going to create the trend, and it's usually going to stay in that trend until we have another major news event that causes the shift in sentiment. Okay? Let me say that one more time because that's powerful, right? News usually creates a trend based off of the data that comes out and how it is being perceived. And normally that trend stays intact until we have another major news event that comes and changes the overall sentiment or the perception of that event itself. And that's where technical analysis comes in, right? Because once the news creates the actual trend, that, for example, here on the dollar, let's say that this sell off right here that happened last week because of news sets the overall trend now, sets the overall momentum. Now we come back and we rely on our technicals to help us identify entries to go ahead and get involved, right? So they're both very important. They both go kind of hand in hand, right? And that's why it's important to not just rely on one of them, right? Try to understand both, right? Try to understand what fundamental data is saying. Try to understand what the technicals are telling you as well, because it will only give you a high probability setup. So I'm bearish for the dollar to start the week. I would love to see how we react back up near this daily key level at that 102 400 level. This level right here can absolutely act as that resistance. And I don't see no reason why we don't come down and retest the 101 level down here, right? So I'm expecting a sell-off off of this key level to come test our next key level for the dollar. So I am personally going to be short-term bullish until we get to 102,400. And then from these areas, I'll be watching and analyzing to see if I can get an entry to go short towards 101 flat. Okay, so that is my bias on the dollar. Now, if the dollar was to actually gain strength, which is very possible, right? If the dollar was to actually gain strength and take out this entire level right here, all this structure, then at that point I'll be changing my bias once again and possibly just going ahead and targeting up to the 103,500 instead, right? Just completely reading price action. I'm going to be playing off of the price action and seeing what price action is saying overall. Okay, so that's going to be my blueprint for the dollar going into this up and coming week. And I'm excited to see overall how this does end up playing off for sure. Right now, before I even continue to go, I actually want to go ahead and get the thoughts and opinions of the rest of the team that's on the call today, right? We do have, the boy Kyle. We got the boy Ray on the call as well. And I want to be able to get their thoughts and opinions on what they think the dollar is going to do, and we can just start that conversation around the dollar. Come up with a bias on that, whether we agree or disagree. Obviously, we'll see. But for the most part, let's start that conversation around what we think the dollar is going to do, and then we can start getting into, a lot of these other pairs that we're going to be, pretty much looking in towards, right? So, we'll get into that for sure. Okay, but yeah, Kyle, Ray, appreciate you guys for tuning in today. I want you guys to go ahead and unmute yourselves, and yeah, just give me your general thoughts and ideas on the dollar. If you need to, share your screen, let me know, or just take it over as well if you want to also give your markup on that. But go ahead and do your thing.
Overall, I am in full agreement with what you were saying. Like that level, you couldn't fake this. I literally have the same level you have marked for us to potentially start going bearish a dollar from. Um, and even if we do spike up a little above that, like just to kind of show you guys what I'm looking at, I'm gonna take this for a second. Um, Overall, um, if you look at the daily time frame, we do have like some more imbalance here that I do see us coming down to fill. This could be the level that we go bullish the dollar from, but overall, I still am bearish dollar, and I do like the potential of us just filling this imbalance and going straight down from there. That is a great idea, but I'd be lying if I didn't tell you guys that potentially we can spike up to this daily candle up here and start shorting from here. The reason being why I am preemptively probably looking short is because of the NFP release on Friday, especially since we got a very bearish dollar. That could be the catalyst for us to potentially go down, and our entries would be somewhere in this inefficiency range. So I'm in full agreement with Abel. I like to start taking entries bearish dollar from this inefficiency range. You can refine that down to this 4 hour candle. You go in the 1 hour, you can probably refine it down to this. Even on the 30 minute, we've got this little imbalance here that we can come and spike up. If the NFP, if the NFP, like if the NFP high was that high, that we're gonna receive like the ultimatum high for us to start going bearish the dollar from, then I would be playing anywhere from this range. My arrow tool is gone. All right, here it is. I like anywhere within this range, and I'm betting on the fact that NFP did create that high, and NFP did create that distribution for us to retest and start going down from. But even if NFP wasn't that high, I am still looking at shorts at this daily candle right here. I still do believe that even if we do spike a little bit higher, then we do have the potential to just literally just raid this high and then start shorting the dollar into this imbalance like Abel was mentioning. I do see this as a clear target. So I like sells from this region. This 4 hour candle. I like I like these two areas anywhere within this region to start shorting. And even if we do spike above, I do see the potential of us shorting. I think I would throw away the idea only when we do clear this. If we clear this structure right here, this daily structure, like let's say we do break this let's say we do break this lower high, then I would start going bullish dollar. So, my bias is a lot similar but a little different because even if we do spike above this high, I still would be attempting more sells. It's only once we clear this high, then I would probably flip bearish. But overall, I will attempt in this range over here, and if it fails, I'll attempt one more time up here. Overall, still bearish dollar. And if we do break this, then I would start going bullish. But that's my overall bias. It's very similar, but still a little bit more of lenient here on the bearish dollar side.
Okay. Yeah, now I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm definitely interested to see how this plays out. Because we do got these key levels, man, that could potentially hold for sure. So that's gonna be dope, man, to see how that ends up playing out for sure. Right now, Ray, I want to know your thoughts and opinions. Are you in agreement, or what are you thinking? Right? You thinking it's gonna do the opposite? Do you have a specific bias, an analysis on the dollar that you might want to go over, or what are your initial thoughts on it?
Um, I definitely agree with the sell side. Obviously, the safest approach is, the higher point of entry. I don't think that we respect that lower time frame imbalance. And I'll just, like not to harp on it because I know we've already kind of discussed it for the most part. But I will pull up my screen real quick, just to go over it. Oh, y'all can't see. I'm tripping. I'm sorry. Let me make sure y'all can actually see. I thought I pressed the share button already. Here we go. All right, everybody should be able to see now. But yeah, I'm in agreement. The only thing that I could see the reason the market falls over from here is just the fact that we did sweep these highs over here. But I do like the concept of it, popping above this high here because on EU specifically, I have the market clearing lows before it buys again. So I feel like the DXY is probably going to follow suit. I do think that these highs are going to catch a lot of people slipping. And that's why, just for me, I do like to look for very specific things when I'm taking sales. I don't typically take sales that just have like this overwhelming area of imbalance. I need to see something else in here that I can clear on top of the imbalance. So if I don't really have any liquidity underneath the imbalance, I don't really take those trades. So sometimes I just go above it and see if there's anything more attractive up here. And, this point of interest is a little more attractive to me because there is something for me to clear while I'm looking for that sale. So, my first opportunity would be right here. And I say it every week, just like baseball, I give myself more than one strike to try to be right. It's not just one and done for me all the time, especially since I do trade on lower time frames. Sometimes I need more than one attempt at the market, but my first attempt will be about right here, right? And obviously I don't necessarily trade the DXY, but the pairs that correlate with it in terms of like Euro USD, I do see the market coming to clear the low and then buying up, right? And whole reason being is because we do, take liquidity on these lows, then we start to push up respecting demand. Okay. So since the market is respecting demand on the way up, we're actually running into supply zones, but supply is failing while demand is holding. So this is the last area of demand that I'm personally interested in, right? Now I know a lot of people say, well, there's demand right here, right? Because this is a low that made a new high. Why not take this trade? And again, I just would like to see more liquidity form on the way up. And since, typically what I've recognized when you just have a large area of imbalance, the market will probably violate it and seek a little bit lower. So, obviously we're all in alliance, in alignment with the overall narrative on the DXY. I'm personally looking for some Euro USD long opportunities at about, 0.9. What we could do 0.95 or 0.9295. Let me just give you something a little more solid than that, actually. So yeah, that's way easier. 0.93. Okay. 0.93. About a 20 pip stop. At least 115 pips on the buy because I am going to be targeting this high. So for me, for a trade to be worth it for me, it needs to give me at least 1 to 5. So as we can see, that's about 112 pips. That's 5.6. So that's a trade that I'm willing to take. Because even at 1 to 5, I could be right 20% of the time and still make profit. So, if I take this trade 10 times, I lose 8 times and I win twice, I still come out profitable with a 1 to 5 risk to reward ratio. So that's why every trade I take must be bare minimum 1 to 5 risk to reward. All right. So yeah, we both agree, bearishness on the DXY. So I'm looking long on other pairs. All right. So I didn't want to go too deep into all the pairs, but that's what I got. So if y'all want to snatch the share back, y'all got it from me.
Okay. I think we're gonna be in agreement too, even with the euro and stuff. 'Cause I think it all looks very, very good. So that's gonna be interesting. Now you just went over euro, and what else did you go over real quick? So I don't repeat it.
Oh, just Euro and the DXY so far. I do see an opportunity on AUD CAD for me. Okay. Do see an opportunity on AUD CAD for me where we could get some sell opportunities coming into play. Y'all know me, I like taking opportunities on Sundays just because, Sundays are, contrary to popular belief, Sundays are like some of my best days. So obviously this is a weekly outlook, so there's a lot of pairs that have potential. But so far as anything that I'll probably be interested in today, it would be AUD CAD. All right. But outside of that, I haven't really went over anything. So EU, AUD CAD, that's about it.
Okay, dope, dope. Let's get it. I mean, my focus personally is for the week, so I probably won't even need the screen share for too much. But I'll take it back just for a second. Because my focus for this week is going to be gold, which has been my baby for the past couple weeks, and it's also going to be GJ, and then also potentially one of the indices, whether it's NAS or the S&P, right? So let me just go ahead and go through these real quick, family, and then we'll see if Kyle has also anything that he's potentially looking at, and then we'll just have some more discussion around, what we think the best opportunities really are for the up and coming week, right? So overall, guys, though, for gold, I mean, gold has been very interesting, right? Overall, I'm bullish gold. I am definitely gonna be looking for more reasons to go ahead and go to the upside on this. It's just a matter of being patient for me overall, right? Now, the reason why I'm bullish gold, I mean, let me go ahead and just show you guys what I'm looking at real quick. Again, I don't complicate things, guys, when it comes to technical analysis because although it is important, again, my main thing is really understanding what the news is saying and the data and the sentiment, right? So I don't overcomplicate the fundamentals. I could if I want to, I just choose not to. So overall, when I'm looking at this, I make it very simple, guys. I identify my major key levels on a daily time frame, and then I just read price action to see how it's reacting around those major key levels, right? Because the reaction around the major key levels tells me all that I need to know, right? It tells me, from a technical perspective, what I think the market is going to do, the direction, no flow that we should see for the next few days or so, and all that good stuff, right? So me looking at price here on gold, I'm looking at this 1940s level, right? And this 1940s level is a significant level, of structure, right? I'm gonna put this little zone around it so it might stand out a little bit more. But yeah, this level is significant, because look at what price has done in the past, right? We acted as resistance, acted as support numerous times. Very obvious, basic concepts that we don't need to overcomplicate. But what happened last week around this level is what I think is significant for me and what really causes me to want to go ahead and seek more upside here for gold, right? Because last week, guys, we actually ended up having a pretty aggressive sell-off overall that ended up getting us below that 1940 level, right? But what happened next? The market immediately, right? Not immediately, right? But in about 2 days, we ended up coming back and pretty much turning back around and getting back above that major key level. Right now, that's a major daily level. So I think the fact that we had enough momentum to get back above that level and close above that level really does tell a story in itself, right? And even on the weekly time frame, you can see that the weekly time frame as well. At one point, this weekly candle was obviously all the way down here. It ended up closing all the way back bullish. That's significant. Now, there is a chance that we do come and probably fill some of this wick, but overall, I would be possibly, or yeah, potentially looking for opportunities to go ahead and go bullish. Now, that also aligns with what I'm looking at for the dollar itself, right? That dollar weakness overall. So it's going to be interesting to see if we can get it. Now, where am I going to be really paying attention to look for potential trades from? All right, where are going to be my key levels now? All right, outside of the daily key level, where is going to be my major key levels that I want to focus on? Well, I have to keep my eye on this level right here, right around our daily key level. Right, so I think that if price was to come lower and take out this 1937 level, right? If we're able to come and take out 1937 right here, I think that we could have an opportunity for price to rebound and then go ahead and start going bullish off of that. So I'm going to be seeing how we play off of this. Again, a sweep of this level would be pretty significant for me. This 1937, go ahead and get below it, and then from there I would love to see us, obviously rebound and then give us reasons to go ahead and go along. That's one opportunity, right? That's one area I'm going to keep my eye on because realistically, we have so much momentum to end the week. This really doesn't have to give us such a deep pullback, right? It could give us something shallow just like this, find enough liquidity, and then continue. So that's why I'm, again, just keeping that on the table and just because we are around a major daily key level as well. All right, now the next area I'm also going to pay attention to is a lot lower. All right, it's going to be obviously closer towards filling that wick. I'm going to go towards the 3 minute time frame real quick so you guys can see what I'm looking at. And on the 3 minute time frame, we also do have this lone candle that can also potentially, give us or warrant a potential opportunity. Okay, so two levels, right? It could be somewhere around here and seeing how we play off of that level. But it can also be, on the sweep down here as well. That can also potentially warrant, an opportunity here for gold. So I'm gonna be keeping my eye on these two levels, guys. Again, 1940s and then the 1934s to see how price is reacting off of those. And I wouldn't be surprised if price reacted off of either of these. But I will be ready, right? Hopefully, and I'm pretty sure it probably will, right? Because I personally don't trade Sundays just because it's not a part of like my trading plan or my trading routine. But it would be a shame if it did happen during Sunday and this thing started to fly and take off to the upside, right? That would be super annoying, but it is what it is, right? Because if we did see something like that, where honestly, I'll have to be more so closer towards these lows. But if we did see something like this, right, where even if it happened, during Sunday, uh, pre-London session going into New York, that's cool, right? Because if we get the reaction that I want to see and it causes a break of structure, then that's fine. I'll just have to wait for the next pullback, wait for the next higher low, and then we'll go ahead and get involved at that point as well, right? So yeah, gold looks interesting, man. I'm gonna keep my eye on gold all week this week. I've been absolutely destroying gold, and I plan on continuing to do just that, right? So that is my goal for the week, and I'm excited for our family. But I want to ask you guys in the chat before we continue, right? What pairs are you guys looking at? What is going to be your guys' main focus going into this up and coming week? Do you guys focus on more so certain forex pairs, so in certain indices? Do you guys focus on more metals, commodities like oil? What are you guys? What is your guys' focus going into this up and coming week, family? Let me know in the chat because mine is definitely going to be gold and it's going to be pound yen. All right, so gold looks interesting though. We'll see how this play out. One of these levels should play off, and if they don't, and the market just tanks, then so be it. Right, it is what it is. We'll accept it. We'll take our losses, and then we'll just reanalyze and see what makes the most sense next moving forward. So the next one is going to be GJ. Again, GJ, like I said, is one of my favorite pairs, one of my favorite setup, or one of my favorite opportunities on the forex side to actually get involved with. And I'm very bullish GJ. All right, extremely bullish GJ. It's not even funny. I mean, I've been bullish GJ. I've been bullish all the yen pairs for damn near a year now, and I don't see no reason to continue to go against that. Right? We have been just so bullish here, right? And I don't. Again, I can't go against that. But let's go ahead and just break down what I'm looking for here on the bigger picture real quick, right? So you guys can overall have an idea of my thought process here, right? So I'm looking at this on a daily time frame, guys. We can clearly see how bullish this has been for the past year and a half, and I think that we're going to continue doing that or going in that overall direction. So now what I'm doing is now I'm just looking at how personally we're going to play off of this major key level. You know, we have this daily level at 180, flat, round psychological level that I think can act as a major area of support slash demand that could potentially send us right back on up to the upside, right? So I'm a big fan of looking for some longs here. No questions asked about that. It's just we got to be patient to see how we react around this 180 level right here, right? And the fact that I'm also bullish, just look at price action, man. Like we had obviously a lot of momentum. We created this support here initially. We bounced back up, created this support again. We actually ended up running that support a little bit, bounced off. We just tested this level numerous times, right? And then what happened? We had a massive sell-off that was probably caused by news. I can't pinpoint exactly why this thing was so aggressive, but we had a very aggressive sell-off that actually ran the 180 level, right? And that's not even the interesting part. The interesting thing that catches my attention when I'm reading price action and I'm identifying what I think can happen from a technical perspective is the follow through, right? We had the breakout, but what's the follow through looking like, right? I'm already bullish, right? I'm already bullish. So I wasn't going to expect too much of a follow through to the downside, right? It was possible, right? But I personally wasn't going to be expecting that, right? What I was going to be expecting was to see the rebound, right? Because if we were able to rebound, which we pretty much did, as you guys can see what price did here, right? Once we actually came back and we rebound and we got back above this key level of 180, that told me everything I needed to know, right? That told me everything, right? That made me extremely bearish or bullish, I mean. So I'm definitely going to be looking for more upside here, okay? For GJ, just based off how we reacted last week on structure, right? So that's looking at it from a bigger perspective, a daily time frame. I'm very bullish. You know, we also had the break of structure that came as well. Like, I don't know, this thing just looks super bullish if you ask me. But let's start going down a lower time frame and actually seeing where it makes sense to look for some opportunities from. Right. Well, right now we're pretty much just testing this lone candle right here, right? This lone candle, could we just run this lone candle a little bit more and then go bullish? Very possible, right? That's actually what I would love to see, right? Is that we actually run this support, right? I don't think this support is going to hold. There's probably going to be too many people trying to buy off of this support. So I think we run the support, we come test that 180 level. We might even run that a little bit, but overall, I think this level can really hold, long term, and we do see this thing end up turning around and potentially going bullish here, right? So that is my blueprint here, guys, for GJ, right? This is something that, again, I'm not going to set a pending order on. I'm going to have to watch in real time, all right? I want to watch it in real time. I want to see what price action is doing, and I want to see what it's telling me once we get down here, right? Because how I trade, I normally don't use pending orders, right? I don't use pending orders like I used to. I used to be the pending order king, but I definitely more so prefer to take trades in real time because then I'm able to actually monitor them, manage them as this actually happening right now, right? So yeah, depending on how price reacts down here, I'm not gonna just jump in right away, but I will be patient and I will wait to see, right? Even if this will be a more conservative approach, but it's an approach that probably have the highest probability of actually winning, right? And that is if price actually ran this level of structure and we didn't even necessarily take a trade off of this 180 level, but we waited to see if we were able to rebound, right? If we were able to rebound and get back above this 180 level after running, oh my God, y'all better all take that buy, no questions asked on this retest right here, right? Like once we get back above and close above this 180, I'm all day jumping in there, all right, all day long, and I'm going to be riding it out to see if we can go ahead and target back up to these equal highs all the way at the highs. So that's a conservative approach that you can take here for GJ if you really wanted to. Just be patient, right? Let it run the support and see if we can go ahead and ultimately rebound. On the rebound and the retest, that's your entry all day. The more aggressive approach is going to be if price just runs the support. And now you're going to be watching down here to see if price can actually go ahead and find some support or find some demand off of there and then go bullish. All right, so a couple ways to do it. Depends on obviously how you want to approach it. You know, you could be more conservative and wait for the more so the rebound back above 180, or you could be a little bit more aggressive and try to see if you can read price as it's down here. All right, so that's gonna be my bias and my focus going into this week, family. Two phenomenal opportunities in my opinion. GJ honestly probably looks the best. It's definitely on my radar for sure this week. In fact, I'm actually gonna set an alert right now so that I am alerted as to when price does break this support, so that I can go ahead and get ready to act um, in a fashion that makes the most sense for me. Right, so that is my week. I'm gonna be focusing on these two. I'm gonna dominate these two. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. Right, so hopefully this makes sense to y'all. If you guys agree with it, amazing. If you don't, by all means, let me know what your thoughts are in the chat, man. I'm always open to having a conversation, just so that I can see your perspective. Right, I'm always open to seeing anybody's perspective of the market because there's a million different ways to look at the market. There's a million different ways to trade the market, and I don't necessarily, say that my way is the only way because that's not true at all. All right, I'm always open to seeing what everybody else says. Let me see what we got here in the chat. Let me see. Bitcoin. We can take a look at Bitcoin. I see you guys are looking at GJ, GU, EU, UJ, gold and NAS, gold. Can you mark up SPX for sure? I got you, Jude. Appreciate you for tuning in, my brother. By the way. Right, let's see. That was the rumor from BOJ. Yeah, that was the rumor actually. Now that I think about it, this was the actual rumor that they were gonna shift. Right, that they were potentially gonna shift. I remember now. All right, and then actual news came out. I can't remember if it was CPI or unemployment, but they also had some following up data that really made it completely reverse. I can't remember exactly what news event it was, but I know that there was something that caused it to reverse back up. Let's see. One of my rules country NFP that had I know that the charts reset and enter the markets on Tuesday. Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. I know a lot of traders that only trade Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? Like it's only those 3 days out of the week. All the other ones they take off, right? So I mean, it's whatever works for you. Whatever works for you at the end of the day. But that's gonna be my focus, family. I'll take a quick look at the S&P, and then I'll go ahead and pass it off to Kyle or Ray if he has anything else he wants to look at. All right, so the S&P guys, very interesting. We've been very bullish all year long so far, but we most recently had a very interesting sell-off. All right, and I'm actually still surprised, and not even surprised. I'm more confused, to be honest with y'all, on why price actually did sell off, right? Because based off the data and stuff and how I was interpreting it, I was expecting, the indices to at least somewhat hold its spike up that we initially had off of news, right? But for some reason, at the end of the day on Friday, or at the end of the day on Friday, this thing just completely turned around, right? And we had a crazy sell off to literally close the day for indices, right? And it happened across the board, right? For the S&P, the Nasdaq, and the US 30. So that was interesting. And to be honest with you, I have no clue as to why I did it, right? And I'm normally the one that has most of the time an idea as to why price moves, especially if it's based off fundamentals. I really don't know what happened though. But with that being said, based off the news, based off of the data and how it's been coming out, right? Data has been looking very, very good lately. I would not be surprised if this is more so a fake out here, right? This last sell off right here could have been something that is there to more entice sellers, but ultimately gets completely erased, and we actually go ahead and start trending back bullish. That is what I think can happen, right? Now, does that mean I want to look for buys from right here? I mean, it is possible, all right? Price could realistically just start to go up off of this daily key level. But what I would like to see personally, that might give me a little bit more comfort, is if we actually came a little bit lower. All right, I would love to be able to see price, make its way lower, possibly run this 44.70 level, right? This 44.70, feel a little bit of the imbalance, and then from there we go ahead and start making our way bullish, right? I think that that is a very, very, very probable play. I think that the direction itself is also, in my opinion, truly the direction that we should be expecting here on indices based off of the fundamentals. So that's what I would like to see. Right now, again, price doesn't have to drop down here. That's just what I will feel more comfortable with, and that will give me a lot more confidence in the trade. But it could just take off right from the level that we're playing right now. All right. So we'll see how this plays off. Obviously, by tomorrow morning, New York session, Monday, New York session, we'll be able to see how it's at, where it's at, and we'll be able to come up with some type of decision during our live trade room to see on if we want to go ahead and get involved or not. All right, but I'm bullish here, man. I want to see more upside. I just want to see how we play off of either the level that we're testing now, right? The 44, what is this? 44.90, 44.89, right? Or we can come down to the next key level before we ultimately go ahead and take off, right? So it's either going to be 44.90 for me or 44.44 for longs for the S&P overall. All right, so that's just my expectation, just playing off of basic key levels overall. But without further ado, family, again, that is pretty much going to be my plays. Gold, GJ are going to be my focus. The S&P is probably going to be it's going to be on the table as well. If it looks extremely good, we'll take it. But I'm excited for this week, man, because everything I think is setting up nicely. Right, but what I want to do is I actually want to pass it off now to little bro Kyle to see if he has anything, or at least ask him first if he has anything that he's interested in, that he's watching, that he's paying attention to, that he thinks looking really good. I know some of you guys will probably start asking about USD CAD, because he is the USD CAD trader. This guy really loves trading that, so I don't know if there's a potential setup on USD CAD forming as well that could be of interest. But Kyle, bro, appreciate you, dog. You can go ahead and do your thing if you have anything that you want to look at.
Yeah, no, for sure. I probably will. Yeah, that's that's really like the main thing I'll be looking at this week. Um, to be honest, we're in a pretty weird phase with USD CAD right now because it does have the potential to really drop from anywhere in this range that we're currently in, and I think this is one of the pairs that's lagging behind like almost everything. Like dollar had a extremely bearish Thursday and Friday. So the last 2 weeks of the market, we did receive bearish dollar, and that did translate over to pairs like EU and GU. Whether that holds or not is kind of something that we have to pay attention to. But personally, I do like the idea of it just like dropping from where it's at and playing this candle. Obviously, it might not be something I'm participating in because we are kind of outside of my trading, like outside of my trading time. I might be taking a look at this during London though, so potentially an Asian session trade can pan out, and then maybe London can give us like that retest to this to continue and possibly just keep going down because EU and GU already made its move. USD CAD is now just playing out. Like, get this 5 minute candle. Man, I probably should have been paying attention. Like, what, like maybe like 10, 15 minutes ago. we could have got an entry off of this 5-minute live OB. It's still not too shabby. Still makes sense. You can run like a 20 pip risk on this thing and still have a favorable risk to reward of us coming back down to these lows, which is a 1 to 11. But me personally, I would rather my stop be a little smaller than this. But I like this idea right here. I do like this idea. And maybe we can even reduce the stop down and run this high for a 16 pip stop, which makes a lot of sense here. I'm pretty sure we'll wake up tomorrow morning and see that this thing has made some moves. I think the only thing that is kind of like making me like second guess not even taking it is the fact that we do have this CAD holiday tomorrow. So, you know, we might not even do anything around this way. Like we might even just, you know, how can I? We might even just play around with this and then start trading down. So, like, even if that is the high, like, I know there will be another entry. So I'm not going to force the high. I'm not going to force the issue. I'm not going to force the reversal. You know, I want to wait. I want to wait for a clean break of structure and then a retest of that. We are getting kind of a break of structure on this range. I would want to play the retest of it, though. I wouldn't want to force it because, you know, again, we can really just run this very, very easily. So I'm really looking at USD CAD sells, and I'm really looking at this area very closely because, again, we are lagging behind pairs like EU and GU. So, you know, if that's something that is gonna play out, it's gonna play out somewhere in this range. You know, we did fail to make a new high over here, and now we're sweeping below. There's got to be a leg down at some point. There's got to be a leg down at some point, and the follow through is tentative. So, you know, I'm looking at the area that we're literally at right now for some sells. But again, I probably will wait until maybe London or possibly even New York, right? Again, I'm going to be more active trading the London session with the Profit Society premium members. So definitely, you know, be on the lookout for that. I could definitely say that this is something that can play out real soon. If it doesn't play out at this level, so you know, I will probably look for an attempt if I see what I like. But if I don't get the entry and I don't see what I like, or if we get stopped out or something, then you know it's tough because we can even play this, but I don't even want to play that. I would rather play up here. But I'm still keeping this area in mind because the dollar has, in my opinion, one more spike up. Whether this is the level or this is the level that holds, I'm gonna also play USD CAD with that same bias. I'm gonna have two levels that I'm looking to play USD CAD from. These are like swing levels. So the area that we're at right now, I don't really, you know, I don't really see this as something that holds for a long time. But if you're looking for like a swing level, and I could be wrong, of course, I could definitely be wrong. This thing could just melt from where we're at, and then we miss the high. And you know, I would be okay with that because you don't have to catch the high to make a lot of money, to make a lot of profits. You know, we can always catch the continuation play if this is the high. So I wouldn't be mad about missing the high or anything like that because you know, I've caught tons of trades, continuations off of things like this. Like, you know, for example, like over here, I actually did catch the high over here, but I closed very, very early. I closed like right here once I saw this engulfing, and I was thinking that we might continue up. But nonetheless, like, you know, we were able to catch trades off of this. We were able to catch sells off of here. We were also even able to catch sells off of here. I didn't catch any of these sells. I don't think I caught any of these sells either. You know, actually, I think I did call this sell out to the community. Then I took profit around here, but nonetheless, I also called this sell out here. So this thing is tentative, right? This thing is really tentative. You have to really pay attention to the New York session moves. So if you guys want a swing entry point and a more high probable entry point, and you're just like me and you're not looking to trade at this time period, look at these two levels right here, keeping close eye out on them. These are the two candles that I'm looking to play on USD CAD. I'm probably not going to play any buys leading up to that, because as you guys can see, like, this thing is just dropping, you know, ever since I kind of just started even looking at it. We've just been getting straight downside movement. So if you were bold enough to get in off of this, then I salute you, because that's not me. But look towards these regions, and you know, that would be my more probable entry zones. If this does play out, then I'll probably catch a retest off of that. So, and you know, it can, because we did just sweep liquidity. That's the thing. Once it sweeps liquidity, this is why I'm like emphasizing my bearish outlook. Because once it sweeps liquidity, like, we don't know how far it's going to sweep, right? This could be the sweep alone, where we just sweep and then we start trading down and we sweep like 2-3 pips. But this thing could sweep even higher and then start aggressively trading down. All we're waiting for is a liquidity sweep, right? If all we do is sweep liquidity, then it's ready to run. It's good to go for me, right? Hence why I'm saying, like, you know, USD CAD really could be ready to run, because we just sweep this liquidity. So yeah, just look for heavy, like, sell side USD CAD. Like, don't you know, I wouldn't be looking for too much buying in this thing, because, you know, as you guys can see, structurally intact, we're still trading bearish. And even this upside movement, like, yes, you can make a case it reacted off of this perfectly, and that's great. And, you know, shout out to the buyers off of this. You definitely are up some pips. I do just see this as like corrective price action. I really do just see this as corrective price action. I'm really not convinced that I'm really not convincing myself to switch my bias here. I like the outlook that this is just corrective. This is corrective structure. So yeah, overall still bearish on USD CAD. Overall still bearish until we break this high right here. Then I'll switch biases or anything. But for now, I am still looking bearish on USD CAD, for any of those wondering. We opened up the month very bullish. We have 24 days left on this monthly candle. This thing could easily wick down and start closing bearish and close off the month bearish. That's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting us close off this month more bearish than we started it. Hence the candle theory. You know, I like to see candles open opposite what my bias is, because the close will be opposite of where it opened. That makes sense. But yeah, I also know, like, you know, Ray was looking at Euro. You know, I'm looking for the same thing across the board on Euro. You know, potentially we feel this imbalance and then start trading up. How that would look on like the 4-hour is just coming down to like this 4-hour candle right here and trading off of that. Possibly even this 1-hour. Paying attention to this 1-hour candle for us to trade up on that. I agree with Ray's bullish analysis a lot. I think he did a great job of breaking down the Euro. And I do see this as something playing out. So overall, bearish dollar, that translates very well into USD CAD. And that does translate very well into Euro USD. I do want to see Euro USD grab some of this inefficiency, spike down a little bit, and then we can start trading this more so to the upside. So I agree a lot with Ray's outlook here on EU, and I have more so the same thing. Just playing this 1 hour demand candle.
That's a
But
nice setup. I'm personally looking to get in under that low though. Like I'm
where you're
a
looking for like this, I don't
like
know what area, where are you looking
right under that low. That's where I'm buying right there.
here?
Because I just feel like that first one is a trap in my opinion. So that candle hasn't been necessarily tested yet. So since that is a unmitigated demand zone, that's where I'm gonna try to get in at. Now, the other one is worth a jab, obviously, because I mean, just on the daily, there's so much upside. I would hate to miss out on all the bullishness just because of a few pips or however many pips it is. But so it just depends. Not to say I wouldn't entertain it at all from 0945. I'm just more so looking for that low to get taken out, and then I'll be more of an aggressive buyer because I need some sort of internal range liquidity. Like there's no internal, like all that inefficient price, like all that imbalance, there's no internal liquidity there. So I don't know where the buy is going to get the fuel from, but it could. It's not my preference. I'd rather get in underneath it, but we're going to find out soon enough. This may play out tonight if we being real or tomorrow morning. So we'll,
True,
we'll, we'll find out soon enough for sure.
true. I mean, I like that. I mean, we're overall looking bullish, so
Mhm.
that's a good thing. If it does spike lower, I probably will take that with you as well. Do you have
Uh,
anything on GU though? Like I'm a little torn on GU.
man, I don't know because I got in GU at the bottom of that wick, so I'm not even looking for no re-entries right now. So I'm just holding. I am bullish because like the daily and the weekly, if it like for example, if you go on to like the weekly, bro, it's so bullish.
It's
Or
so bullish, it might not even retest. Like,
or maybe even the daily type, but like it's so bullish. I'm just hoping that that's a higher low. If that is a higher low, I'm gonna target 1.315 way up there because I've
yeah,
already closed 90% of my position. I'm just kind of like holding it just to see how far it'll go. But I've closed most of my trade already, to be honest.
yeah, no, that's bro. You know what's crazy? I had caught this same entry too because I saw this 1 hour bullish engulfing, and I kind of played it like a live OB because we reached liquidity. Um, you know, I hope Skags don't get on me, but I mean, did we did um create a
You better make
low?
sure you're right, bro. You better make sure you're right.
Nah. I don't think it followed the volume, but fuck it, it didn't follow the volume, but it still played out. I just played this as an engulfing, and I played it, and I was like,
I mean, that's
yo,
what it did though. Like even on like on a 5 minute, like I caught it off the 5 minute. Like I was really on the 1 minute, but the 5 minute is good enough to see because where you know it consolidated, it had a stop hunt, then it broke and made new highs, and it had internal liquidity as well. So I took it on like that retest. I didn't catch the bottom of the low, but I caught that retest entry. You know what I mean? At
yeah,
like at like 1.264. That's where I took it.
I played this 5 minute engulfing, and I just let it rock. But I'm not in it anymore because I used that to pass a challenge account, so I just like closed out. around here, and I just got out. I'm hopefully gonna start holding more partials in the live account and let it, if I get a reentry, that's the thing for me. I only want the reentry because I wanna like hold it just like you, bro. I want that entry.
Yeah, we'll see what it does from here. Hopefully, it just it finds a higher low and it just continues. That's what I would want, but we shall see. We shall see. And I hope CAD gains some strength too, because I am short on AUD CAD. It is Sunday, you know me, I can't help myself. So I'm not gonna like call it like an official signal or nothing, but if you just want to be on some Sunday behavior with me, I did take a short on AUD CAD. I'm in like 2 pips of drawdown right now, but it is starting to leave a wick, right? Like it hasn't moved in like the past 15 minutes. So hopefully we have like a nice candle closure and the market starts going bearish. But I did the little setup I was talking about earlier. I did execute on that. So let me grab this real quick just so I can show him, Kyle.
Bet.
So I did grab this entry here. If you want to be safe, just 10 pip stop. It don't hurt. I'm going for about a 1 to 5 or 1 to 6. I'm going for about 60 pips. Hoping that the market wants to hold this high right here. We haven't moved in about 15 minutes. So it seems like we're kind of finding a little bit of, selling pressure coming in. Like it's having a little bit of trouble pushing higher. So it did come to fill in this tiny, tiny area of imbalance. Right. And essentially these are the areas I like taking trades out of, because like these highs are balanced, all of this is balanced, this is imbalanced, right? Just that little pocket right there. So the market did, react in this pocket. And now, it did give me a nice little rejection. So hopefully it just kind of rolls over and keeps falling. Um, Obviously it may or may not do that. It is Sunday, like I said. I wouldn't go too heavy because it is Sunday. But you know me, like I'm always looking for something at least. And like I explained before, guys, 1 to 5, all you need to be profitable is 20%. 20% win rate to become profitable when you trade in at least 1 to 5 risk to reward. So that gives me peace of mind, understanding that I have the ability to lose. I treat trading like a business, and losses are just my business expenses, right? It's like the overhead of running a business. As long as my profits outweigh my losses, I'm cool. So that's how you have a profitable business. That's how you have a profitable trading account, right? It's the exact same thing. So try to, not get too emotionally involved. If you see a setup, take it. If your edge is met, take it. Right. I said this a few weeks back. There's a difference between patience and hesitation, right? Me being patient is waiting on my setup. Me being hesitant is having a setup and still not executing, right? So there is a big difference. A lot of people say they're being patient because it's Sunday, or they're being patient because of this or that. But in reality, you're probably just being hesitant because you're afraid to take a loss. So for me, I do my best to get rid of all hesitant type of behavior. If I see my edge, I take it. I don't care, because the law of averages and the law of large numbers is here to protect me, right? And we got to believe that as traders. So for me, make a high, take a high, hezzy, crossover, bearish. All right. So for me, this is now the high. my peak high. This is potentially my peak low here. And obviously, this is all potentially my peak high. And I do have a little bit of liquidity here. So once I took that out, I felt comfortable taking a short position. All right. So like I said, it's Sunday. If you want to pass on it, I completely understand. I'm sure we'll have some more setups for y'all later on in the week. But that's just from my Sunday degenerate people. Last few Sundays I have been, doing pretty decent. So it's not even the last few Sundays. It's like most Sundays I see a setup or two that ends up going in profit. So I don't want to be so micromanaged to the point where I don't take opportunities. It's like I kind of like me, I'm the sports guy. So I always use like a sports analogy, right? In football, for example, in the preseason, like all the seasoned vets, they don't play, right? Like they hardly practice, they barely play. All the guys that have like 10 years of experience, 5, 10 years of experience, they don't have to do all the basic fundamental things because they already know what they're doing, they already know what they're looking for, right? But as a beginner, as a rookie, you're getting all those reps in preseason because you don't have experience, right? And it's kind of like I equate that to trading. It's like if you don't have experience, then yeah, you can't trade Sundays. Yeah, you should only trade Tuesday through Thursday. You should only trade certain pairs. You should only do this. You should do that because essentially you want to protect yourself from harm's way, right? Like you need the reps, you need the structure, you need the rules and the regulations to keep yourself in line because you're new to the industry, right? But once you get like more skin in the game, once you become like a seasoned vet, that's when you can, that you have a little more leniency. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the star football players in the NFL. Like you have more leniency to where you don't have to show up to every off-season training. You don't have to do all the bare minimum stuff that the rookies have to do because you have the experience. They know you know what you're doing. And that's how I am. Like I know what I'm doing long term to the point where I might break some rules sometimes. It is what it is. Like I don't really look at trading on Sunday as breaking a rule either. I just look at it as it's a preference thing. So if you have that rule to protect you, follow it. Don't let me convince you otherwise. But if you have been trading for a while, I mean, you know how to use risk management, you know how to define your edge. Don't let a day scare you out of the markets because I personally don't believe the markets care about what day it is. For the sake of time, I'm not going to do it, but I could go back for the past few months and show you guys 200, 300 pip moves that happen on Sundays. So that just goes to show you that regardless, there is going to be a setup, regardless of the day it is, right? So, like I said, I did take this. Long term, I am pretty bullish. So I'll be honest, this is a long term, like this is a counter trend trade. So that does make it a little more risky as well. But I just want us to somehow come back, make a new low, and then we could probably return bullish, right? So the main thing that makes this risky is the fact that it's counter trend, more so than anything. But either way, I'm still willing to take that chance because, like I said, me having 20% win rate makes me profitable. So that's why I'm in this trade currently. So hopefully Kyle's USD CAD drops and my AUD CAD follows. So he's been getting some bearishness. Hopefully my AUD CAD follows. Euro USD still dropping. Like I said, you're looking here, which I definitely understand. I'm just aiming a tad bit lower. I do feel like this is a potential trap. I don't think there's enough power within these candles to necessarily send the market significantly higher. So I'm gonna just play this like a trap, and I'm gonna look at this unmitigated area of demand right here, right? So once I come to 0.93, that's where I'll pretty much be looking to take some long positions and see what we get. Hopefully the markets, follow suit so far as GU is concerned. So far as GU is concerned, I'm still bullish just based off of same thing I was just telling Kyle a second ago. You know, if this is a higher low, we have way higher to go, right? So if this happens to be the low and this is a new high and this is a higher low, then yeah, it could retrace a little bit. But I honestly feel like the market has a potential to go back up and revisit like 1.315, right? And that's still, that's 500 pips altogether. So we still got like another 400 pips to go. Because I know I'm floating, like I'm just over 100 pips on my first entry. So I closed out most of it because, I mean, it's 100 pips. What more can you ask for? You know what I'm saying? 100 pips risking like 15, that's great. So I'm not going to hold most of my trade. I'm just holding enough to where if it goes the distance, I'll make a good amount, but most of my trade is closed. If it's gonna do the same thing EU is gonna do, I'd probably say we're gonna go attack this low. So we attack that low, then hopefully we can continue higher. All right. So that's essentially what I'm looking at right here on GU for potential re-entries. If this does happen, I'll just risk a little bit of what I've already made to try to go long again. Cause I typically don't scale in and hold positions this long. But since I am in this prime area, right? Like this is prime real estate right here. If this is a higher low, I'm gonna challenge myself to hold this trade. And I'm sure Skaggs would be proud if I do hold this trade the whole distance of 500 pips. Get a 1 to 31 holding on the daily time frame. Like y'all know that ain't me. I'm like a lower time frame type of guy. But if we do get that type of trade, there are certain areas where you can see that happen. And this could be one of those areas, right? So we are in this prime area where we can get some significant bullishness. But again, so far as re-entries are concerned, let's see if we can clear this low at 1.2685. All right. So 2685. 2685. That's where I would be looking for the potential to buy again. All right. So you got that. I don't really trade G Chef, but it did make a nice move last week. Let me not get too distracted with all them other pairs though. So yeah, that's that. Like I said, I'm still in AUD CAD. Looks like I'm in a little bit of drawdown, so I'm still holding. I'm probably about 5-6 pips drawdown right now. So yeah, I'll see. Hopefully it finds the strength to reverse for me. If not, I'll reassess the entry and see if I see anything else there. All right. But that's all I got. Typically I see more setups, but it seems like a lot is going to probably form for midweek or, maybe tomorrow morning. There's a couple setups for tomorrow morning, but most stuff I see forming is not quite ready yet. Like I see a potential for GCAD shorts. I'm looking at this as a week high. We can come sweep this high, potentially play into this little point of interest up here, and then drop. From here, we'll take the buys and go target the highs. This sweep of liquidity was about 30 pips. This sweep is only 5. So long term, I believe the lows are stronger than the highs. So that's pretty much what I'm looking at on GCAD. So like I said, like it ain't ready yet. A lot of the pairs I look at just aren't ready yet. I was hoping GA gave me another entry. That clearly didn't happen. So yeah, I mean, pretty quiet for me, bro. You know, if you want to go ahead and look at anything else again, you can. I just wanted to give people an update that I am in AUD CAD. All right. So outside of that, that's all I got, bro. If you want to go ahead and snatch the chart back.
Okay. I mean, those is definitely looking interesting. A lot of interesting setups that are forming this week for sure. And I hope everybody's ready, man, and taking advantage of these markups that are being, talked about right now overall. But Kyle, you got anything else, bro, that's on your radar? Cause I'm pretty much straight. You guys know what my focus is: gold, GJ. I'm not even gonna lie, that EU does look super, 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 super sexy. Like that EU might really end up getting back on my radar for this week because I think it's definitely looking primed to continue its direction to the upside overall. But if Kyle doesn't have anything, family, that's pretty much gonna be it for tonight's call. We hopefully provide you guys with some insight as to what we're planning on. Please be mindful we do have major news on Thursday with CPI coming out for the US dollar, which is going to be a very, very high anticipated news event that we want to be aware of. If you guys are a part of the premium family, premium community in the Profit Society, obviously we will be going live and trading that live together in real time, and that's going to be an absolute vibe in itself, right? But besides that, though, family, I do appreciate you guys for jumping on. Thank you guys for rocking with us tonight, and hopefully we all have a phenomenal up and coming week. But without further ado, we appreciate you guys. We love y'all. Thank you guys for rocking with us, and we'll talk to you guys all a little bit later. All right, y'all. Love you guys. Appreciate y'all. Have a great rest of y'all day.